Good morning, everybody. My name is Kaylee Astle. This is Reid, Wuntke, and we are absolutely thrilled to be up here sharing a bit of detail about MobSquad. Many of you, as investors, have heard from your investee companies that they just can't seem to find enough of the right talent. Now, multiply that across the 5,000 startups that are in Silicon Valley, and we have a lot of CEOs with the same problem. Just last week alone, there were over 23,000 open software engineering jobs in the Silicon Valley. Over the past year, we've seen that number steadily increase. Now with the Ubers and the Facebooks and the Amazons, those guys aren't going to go anywhere. They're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to offer unlimited food and theme park campuses and top of market compensation. So it's just more challenge for the small guys to compete for this talent. Fortunately, in Canada, there are over 47,000 new grads in STEM-related programs each year. The big guys that I mentioned before, they recognize the high caliber talent that's available in Canada. And given their scale and their money, they can justify opening up companies, or subsidiaries, across Canada, coast to coast. So what if startups could also access this top-tier Canadian talent? And what if startups could do it without paying an incremental cost beyond what they already pay for their in-house employees? And what if they could access this Canadian talent market tomorrow? At MobSquad, we create high-caliber teams of engineers and developers in Canada. We vet and we hire these candidates, and they work from our technology-enabled facilities located coast to coast in Canada. These engineers are then leased out to startups in Silicon Valley on long-term exclusive contracts, so it effectively renders these employees as full-time talent. The benefit to the startup, they can access this top-tier talent market, and they can do so in a way that they don't have to pay the costs and setup fees of setting up and operating a foreign subsidiary. What's more is that they have access to talent that's time zone congruent, business culture congruent, and language congruent. We've been able to solve the talent shortage, and we are able to do so as a company because there are different compensation structures in the United States and in Canada, so we take an arbitrage on it. This model works. One startup that I'm actually really excited about, they're a Series B company, they're well capitalized, but they just cannot find enough people to help them grow. They recently found their perfect candidate, but he was located in Russia. So this startup turned to us and said, hey, we found our perfect candidate, but we can't get him in. And so we're working with them, and we're bringing Sergey and his entire family to Canada, where his wife can work, and they're all on the path to citizenship. And the startup, they benefit by retaining this top candidate that they've recruited.
So the reason that this works and that we think that it's a winning solution is because it provides a real and material benefit to both the engineer and the startup. So from the startup's perspective, they still get the high quality engineer who's been through some high quality experience, who's been through top-notch education, same time zone, same language, same business culture, same drive to exist and thrive in a startup environment, and the only difference is location. But a benefit of actually going with a different location is now the startup has no administrative burden associated with having an in-house employee. Now for the engineer up in Canada, this is the next best thing to actually moving to Silicon Valley or New York or Boston to exist in the American startup community. Right? They get the same work, the same type of company, the same high quality and high caliber colleagues to work with, the same experience, and the same training, the same professional development and coaching opportunities. But they get to do it in their hometown, where they have a support network and where they do it in a country that they know and love. But on top of that, they get to do it in a way where they're compensated to the top of market in terms of benefits, in terms of total cash compensation, and they get to do it out of MobSquad facilities, which are absolutely cutting edge and replicate what Silicon Valley has done so well. So the team that we have brought together to operate on this, the three of us, we come from various backgrounds and experiences that are all complementary to MobSquad. Whether that's tech-related, consulting, human capital operations, nearshoring. We've covered the full spectrum and brought it together in a way that will benefit MobSquad. Further, the three of us have worked together in various capacities for the greater part of a decade, and we've also lived all across Canada and know the markets incredibly well. So we took this idea and went to Silicon Valley to some of the foremost tech leaders and started pressure testing this, saying, hey, is this something real? How is this going to work? How is it going to fail? And we had numerous fantastic discussions, and what quickly emerged was an overwhelming amount of support. So we were able to go and hand select a crew of advisors that could really help us along three critical dimensions, right? Tech, team, or talent, and then culture. So I won't go into detail of everybody. I'll maybe just give a couple examples of some of the folks that we've brought on board to help us out. First, it's no surprise that Google has fantastic facilities, amenities, and food service program. They have hundreds of people working on this stuff day in, day out. And each of those hundreds of people actually report to Stephanie Chenevert, and she's helping us create our benefits and our facilities system. As far as individuals who have the most, VP of Global Talent titles, Charles Ma is probably up there. VP of Global Talent for BlackBerry, VP of Global Talent for Box, VP of Global Talent for SAP, and most recently VP of Global Talent for Workday. He's helping us think through talent acquisition and retention. Finally, Stephanie Hannon, she was a co-creator of Google Maps, the CTO on Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in 2016, and now the Chief Product Officer at Strava with a very deep Rolodex in Silicon Valley. We definitely rallied ourselves around folks that will help us out with tech, talent, and culture. Since incorporating in September 2017, lots of stuff has happened. You can see some examples up on the screen, but the three biggest ones, I think, are on the funding side. First, since Relay's incubation fund, we've been able to raise and close on $2.25 million of outside funding, effectively driving a 4x valuation bump. We've raised non-dilutive funding to the tune of $1.2 million US in confirmed agreements, and then we're in discussions for another 4. Outside of funding, on the talent side, we've contacted and have been in touch and discussed this opportunity with hundreds of Canadian engineers. And it's so compelling of an opportunity. I literally have a stack of resumes on my desk of individuals who are looking to MobSquad to source their next opportunity. And then on the client side, beyond Sergey, which Kaylee was talking about, we've met with hundreds of immigration lawyers. We've met with dozens of prospective clients, and we have ongoing negotiations and discussions with letters of intent issued that are going to lead to our next series of contracts. So we have the capital in place, we've got the team in place, and the right opportunity to capitalize on. So if there's maybe just a couple of things that I'd like you to take away with, one is for the LPs in the room. This has traction, right? We've shown significant business traction with raising the funds, with getting the valuation bump, with building out our team, and with building out our client base. And secondly, for all the CEOs in the room, right? The talent shortage, it's not going to get solved anytime soon. In fact, it's only going to get worse. So I think those of you that look to unique opportunities and unique solutions outside of market to solve that talent and to try and win that war on talent are going to be the ones that succeed. And that's exactly what we do. We help you down that path, and we help you build those teams. And we do it effectively, and more importantly, we do it tomorrow. So let's chat. Thank you.